Alright, today we're going to be working on my mom's 2000 Buick LeSabre, and we're going to be putting rear shocks in it because the old ones are junk. And on a side note, you may notice that the front end here is a little bit crinkled. She hit a deer with it about a month ago. I had to replace the light and ding that back just a little bit, just enough so that we could put the new light in. Not really worried about how it looks, but let's go ahead and jack it up and get a new shock in it. Alright, I got the wheel off and we can kind of see the shock I'm going to be replacing. Now this car has the air ride system in it, and I've decided to go ahead and get rid of that and replace those shocks with a non-air ride system, because I don't think the air ride system in this car works, and even if it did, I don't think I would replace it with air shocks again, just because if the system does fail, it's expensive to fix, or can be anyway. So I'm going to be replacing it with this one, and as you can see, it's got a big coil spring on it, and that's because these cars from the factory with the air ride system have a little bit weaker rear spring, and to compensate for that, it's usually the air. But since we're getting rid of the air system, we're going to go ahead and put this one in with a nice big coil spring. And first thing we're going to do is unbolt the shock from the bottom here. Now that's held in there with really long bolts and really crappy clips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a wire brush and try to clean these up a little bit, and then spray them down with penetrating oil, because these clips have a tendency to break. So if I can get them out without breaking them, that would be great. Otherwise I'm going to have to do some cutting, and it's just kind of a pain. So let's see if I can't clean them up a little bit and see if they'll come out. Alright, I've got those two 10mm bolts cleaned up a little bit and sprayed down with penetrating oil. Let's hit her with the impact and see if they'll come out. Might get a little bit noisy. Alright, I got some of the pressure taken off with the jack, and I've got the bolts heads down so I can hopefully get under here with a sawzall and clip them off. Unfortunately, you're not going to get a very good angle, but we're going to give it a try, see if we can't cut them off. Alright, now that I've got both the bolts off the bottom there, let's go ahead and move to the top. And if we pull back this carpet, normally there's a fastener there, but that's gone. If we pull back this carpet, here's the top of the shock. It's got a rubber boot thing that just pops off, and then we're going to have to remove this bolt along with another one on the other side, and this metal ring will come off, and then the whole shock will drop out. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get those nuts off of there. Kind of awkward. I hope I'm not blocking your view too much. Alright, now that we got the nuts off, this little ring will come off. We'll have to put that back on later. And now I'll lower down the jack. And the shock should just, sort of just slide out. I've got to try to kind of turn this so it fits through this slot here, which is not always the easiest thing to do. get this shock in here. Now this thing can only go one way. This mount is directional. If you look at it, if I can show it to you here, these bolts are offset to one side, so it can only go in one way. And I believe, there we go, that goes in this way, this direction. There we go. And then I'll go ahead and go up top and just get these nuts started to hold it in place. I won't tighten them down until the car is on the ground. But we'll get them started, and that'll hold it where I need it. Kind of tricky to do with one guy, but if you have a floor jack, that can make life much, much easier. There. Alright, now that I got the nuts up there started, just a few threads on, finger tight, I can move on to the bottom. Now you can see this is directional as well, and it actually needs to be rotated. So I'm going to go ahead and spin this around. There we go, much better. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab the bolts, and I'm actually going to use my jack to jack this up just a little bit more, so that those bolts will be easier to get in the holes. Alright, let's get these bolts started in here. We've got the bolts started. Let's go ahead and tighten them up. Then we can put the wheel on. And once we've done that, we can go back up top, tighten those bolts down, and this will be done. Let's put the wheel on and go back up top and tighten it down. Alright, we got the car back on the ground, and now the only thing left to do is tighten those two nuts and put the little rubber guy back on, and we should be good to go.